This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
To it.
3, 2. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Monday, October 7th. I'm here with Al, Brandon, Lindsay, looking great in green.
Oh, thank you, Tori. You look awesome
right over me and Brandon.
In navy and
No,
plaid.
we understand we're wearing colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those two. You're great. I'm Tori. Let's get right
I look like I own a Cadillac dealership.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You absolutely do. Can I buy a new one from you, sir?
Let me get you in this car today.
Let me get you in this.
All right, sorry.
Here we go. It's kind of a serious story that's crazy and only getting legs. Check this out. A key witness in Amber Geiger's murder trial was assassinated. Joshua Brown was gunned down Friday night. He was shot multiple times outside of his home, according to authorities. So Brown had lived across the hall from Botham Jean and had actually testified about his death. Police do not have any suspects or any motives right now. Now, there was a rumor going around that he was shot in the mouth, and a lot of people thought, oh, he spoke out, therefore that's a revenge killing. But other people say it might be in the lower part of his body and from the back. So either way, it was execution style.
Yeah, the Dallas Medical Examiner's Twitter profile came out and said that he was not shot in the mouth. They're kind of trying to debunk that. And I know everyone's going to run rampant with the conspiracies because we love conspiracies. Right. But I want everyone to take this into account. Last year, 2018, November, he was targeted and a friend of his was killed outside of a Dallas strip club. And this young man did not want to testify because he's been trying to keep a low profile. And he and his family both believed that there was going to be some sort of retaliation or this shooter was going to try and finish the job. So before we start throwing out conspiracy theories about the Dallas PD and you know, police department trying to shut him up, I want everyone to go in and really do diligence on this and really read up.
Fair.
But at the same time, I think we can all agree we want answers.
Yeah, I think that it's up to the Department of Justice and the Dallas Police Department Internal Affairs to really look into this because a lot of people are skeptical and want to know what happened. And I think we're looking at this young man and he just testified. He was like a key witness in the whole trial and her getting the 10 years, which a lot of people were either satisfied with or not, but we need to figure out how he passed away. And his lawyer said he was not involved with drugs. He was so don't pin that kind of lifestyle on him before we know. He owned Airbnbs or he ran them and was a roofer.
And it was like a great guy. Now, what scares me though is Botham Jean's own mom said there's corruption here in the Dallas PD. So that makes me think: is this connected? Do you think?
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in the Dallas PD. But this is what, and we talked about this all last week. This is why it's so important to protect people that that speak out.
Yeah.
Whether they're talking about the president, whether they're talking about a drug syndicate, whether they're talking about the mafia, whatever, corporate espionage, whatever, you need to protect these people. And this is why basically the entire series of The Wire was because a state witness was killed. It's that important. So like when we start saying we need to out this person or reveal their identity, this is what happens when you reveal identities and you don't protect these people.
That's why he was reluctant to testify.
Yes.
I can imagine. All right. This is a crazy video. A man was out walking just with his dogs, 3 dogs.
That's not that crazy.
No, but he was struck by lightning, and it was all caught on camera. So Alex Correas was just walking with his dogs. There you see him. Then a lightning bolt struck him, knocked him off his feet. His dogs go running. The shoes fall off. Thankfully, a Good Samaritan rushed in to help. Here is what he told Good Morning America today.
I finally realized that I was in the helicopter and he told me I was struck by lightning. I started, getting scared and trying to figure out what happened and what the condition was for me and if I was gonna make it. We're just in shock that I made it, and the way I got hit, the way it traveled through my body, they did say I'm lucky to be alive.
Super lucky.
Lucky to be alive. You know what I do? You know the next thing I do when I leave GMA? I go buy a lotto ticket. Go buy a lotto ticket. Play
He has bad luck,
what are the odds to get struck by lightning?
1 in 1,222,000.
Go play lotto. You got a chance to win the lottery. Come on now.
I guess. I mean, I'm more than this. I looked at like how resilient human beings are.
Yeah.
Like I mean, this guy got hit by lightning, but also I hate to be such a nerd about this, but how cool is it that there was a citizen that knew how to do CPR?
Yes.
I think I told you my mom famously did the Heimlich maneuver on one of her friends a couple of years ago and saved her life. It's important to know these things, and
You never know where.
You never know. You probably know CPR.
Oh my God.
You do?
Yes.
Oh,
this is like the kind of stuff you live for.
I love it.
It was like the Staying Alive beat.
Staying Alive, or another one bites the dust, but one is more helpful and hopeful than the other.
Which one?
Okay, yes.
Staying Alive. You want them to stay alive. You don't want them
You don't want those to be the last words you hear.
Right.
And do
You must say it in your head.
You can you break someone's rib when you do it as well?
If you go too hard.
Okay.
But yeah, you can. We'll
which
talk
is
about
why
it
my
later.
certification is up.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. All right, this may be the worst wedding story ever. Just days before the big day, the would-be groom allegedly assaulted one of the bridesmaids. So it all happened at this Pennsylvania hotel. The victim told authorities they had been drinking and she blacked out. When she came to, the groom, who wasn't a groom yet, was forcibly touching her. And get this, a friend said the couple still got married. What?
This is a mess because the husband or the husband-to-be changed his story so many times. He actually, there was a text that the Washington Post said that he sent to the victim or the alleged victim and said, hey, put on a good face for tomorrow. Accidents happen. Like, are you nuts?
Not only did she walk in and found them, there's video of surveillance of him dragging her when she's very unsteady into the locker room.
And he tried to say that she pushed him in the locker room, but the video showed otherwise.
I don't care what he said. Where are the police?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? I didn't know if you got an option on whether to still get married after you committed assault. Like, that's
so
interesting.
he's facing charges now.
Yeah,
He still he got married. His wife obviously is not prosecuted.
Can I just say to the wife, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Is the pool that bad out there? You know, you hear your homegirl say, I can't find a good man. Yeah. Is it that bad?
I mean, that's outstanding.
You know what? I'm going to say this, Brandon, and obviously I'm not going to mansplain this. I'd like to hear this from both of you guys. But I do feel like women, and this crosses over socioeconomic, over color, everything. I feel like you guys have pressure to get married from about the age of 12 on.
Not anymore.
From your aunts, from people, from your older family members.
1950 to about 1995.
That's a good thing. I'm happy to hear that.
There's still this idea and commitment to we plan this, we're doing this part of my whole family. Let's follow through.
The man
and I think
assaulted
that's what I mean, but I know people who are overly committed to the idea of marriage rather than wanting a partner they can spend the rest of their life with.
That's fair.
Once you put down that deposit.
Oh my God.
Once you put down that deposit.
I would not stay in that marriage. Let us know what you guys think. Okay, you have to see
Thank you for that strong stance, Tori.
I took a stance.
Really went out there on that one.
I really put it out on a limb. You've got to see this next video. So a deer leaps through a hair salon window, startling the, sorry, I'm not laughing at anyone, startling the staff and a customer mid-trim. I don't know why that was important. The buck sent shards of glass and hair color flying. He even took a hair straightener with him before exiting through the front door. Now, good luck. There were no serious injuries, and the police have no idea.
Someone wrote that in.
Can I just say this? I think more shocking because the deer in that video.
Thank you.
You did really good.
Hold on.
That was really good.
Thank you, everyone. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like the deer was like the least interesting thing in that video. I feel like what a diverse.
Yeah.
Barber, there was a black woman waiting, a white guy getting his haircut. I was like, where is this?
I also, oh man,
I've never seen a barbershop where there's like a black woman, a white man.
Yeah, what do they do there? Everything.
Yeah, what a skilled stylist.
I saw elk this weekend at Estes Park, and the elk had a plastic bag hanging on its antlers so it couldn't see. But you couldn't get it off because it would attack you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Long Island, about 20 minutes from where this happened, and I'm lost because I never seen a deer just running around on open streets. Ronkonkoma is not like some wooded area. It's like a town.
Right.
So I would be so caught off guard. I'm surprised that the barber didn't like push that man's hairline. She's like seeing a deer. She was so calm. Like,
yeah, everyone seemed very calm. Well, I hope the deer is okay.
Are you done with your elk plastic bag story?
Yeah, I was gonna go with that one again.
Okay.
All right. Sometimes SNL can just hit it out of the park with its parodies, and then there's one sketch that got us all talking at our morning meeting. So watch this.
And we're told the suspect remains at large, but authorities believe they now have a credible description of the perp. The suspect, described as a white male.
Woo, love it!
I'm sorry, what? What are you two celebrating?
Oh, nothing. We're just glad that we know what the criminal looks like, and he ain't one of us.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, the suspect...
The white guy.
That's so Keenan's my favorite. So do you think we secretly think about this? I mean, there's a famous line in the Hanukkah song. Do you remember the Hanukkah song by Adam Sandler? And he goes, O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. And there's a part of like, you want to separate yourself from that. Do you think that's true when you hear it's a white male? Do you feel like, thank God?
But yeah, just because of the climate we live in, I mean, obviously jokes come from some kind of seriousness, and I think black people, we all feel this way, that if one black person does something, that now represents all of us.
Right.
And so when it is like somebody does something weird or does something terrible, it's like, well, what's up with the black community? It's like, hey, I was at Trader Joe's yesterday. I didn't do this. So I think that's where a lot of the humor comes from, is like, because every black person, when we see someone on the news, we're like, please, please.
And they're so quick to show African Americans headshots.
Yes.
Or not headshots, but you know.
Yeah, their face on the news.
And that's the reason why Chris Rock got so much flack for that when you hear that it's a serial killer, Betty White, with the Betty White picture, because I mean that's kind of how we all think about it in a way. So I know what you mean. Like you see something and you're watching the news thing, and then you're sitting there and you're like, please don't be black.
Is it really something you think about?
Yes, I'm sure
I'm learning.
You're gonna have to talk to your white friends. You're gonna have to talk to your white colleagues and be like, look, we all don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
But I remember when the DC sniper was black, and I remember my dad's reaction, and he was like, what?
Yep.
And just like wouldn't stop looking at the TV. Like, people were lost.
Yeah.
Well, there's only been one female serial killer, so it is when somebody does step outside of the demographic, it is like,
it's an outlier.
It was such a strange thing they made a movie about.
Yeah,
So.
my mom zigzagged to get her gas because you
told
can't
me
hit
about
a moving
that.
target.
Yeah.
The DC sniper.
That was scary.
Lee Malvo,
you know,
wasn't that his
you were
name?
there, so
it was really
Lee Malvo.
And John Muhammad. Yeah. There's two
nice.
of them.
Good job, guys. Really good. All right,
sorry for knowing the news.
I love this guy. All right, today this is my spirit animal. Today we were remembering comedian Rip Taylor. He died Sunday at the age of 84. Rip was so well known as the king of confetti, and his over-the-top delivery made him a TV star. He's also well known for hosting the $1.98 beauty show, which was probably one of the oddest TV shows ever produced. It's a beauty. If you don't know Rip Taylor, he is one of those people that I kind of took after because he's been over the top all my life. And Ross Matthews, who's wonderful on Hollywood Today Live, wrote a post and said, Rip Taylor came to me after my show and said to me, hey, you are what I could have been had I not been afraid to be myself.
Wow.
And I think that's a really
amazing.
sweet
And
thing.
when I'm reading up on him, Tori, I knew you were going to love him. He was a prop actor, and he said that he was dying on one of his acts on the Merv Griffin show. So he ripped up like 5 to 8 cards, and that's where he started the confetti. And he was like, he knocked over a table, went home, and was like, oh, I know my career's over now. But bam, there goes the birth of a great idea.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, R.I.P. to Rip Taylor. You were one of a kind.
No, don't.
No,
Do a little
don't.
confetti
We'll
for
do it
Mr.
for Rip
Taylor.
at the end. There you go. Do it. Ready?
All right.
DBL
Rest
is
in
live
power,
and
Mr.
coming
Rip
up.
Taylor.
Here we go. All right. The inspiring story of a woman who trained to be an astronaut in the 1960s but got cheated out of going to space. We'll find out how she's actually getting a second chance in today's Heart Threads. And you, the viewer, are our 5th host. Should President Trump be forced to share his tax returns? We share
And also, should Brandon ever rip paper again?
No, you should not.
That was
We
a
share
failed
your
experiment.
comments coming up next.
He threw them all off camera. Hi guys, Kelly Sherbert here with the DBL digital team. Brandon got the confetti, but he threw them all off camera. I saw the beautiful confetti.
You know what? On that, I'll clean up on my.
Let's go to the desk and see what's going on with our host.
I'm not Tori. I clean up after my.
Yeah, Brandon threw them all off camera. His plan backfired.
Moment, but it doesn't work the same way for everybody. That's not how
Lindsay, well, you know, because when he was doing it, I was like, okay, we're running out of time, and he was ripping them super slow with huge chunks.
Yeah, and huge
I was like, there's no way.
And then there was no payoff.
He used to take a handkerchief.
No payoff there. Yeah, we're still making fun of you because there was no payoff there. Nobody.
Nation, you guys vote. Do you think that Brandon, the ripping paper thing worked out or no?
Lindsay, how do you feel about confetti?
It's just
I feel like every time I see it, I don't know if I get.
All those 70
even though I usually won't have to clean it up, like I get, like who's gonna clean this up?
So Tori and I went to the Taylor Swift concert a couple years back, or last year. And Tori, one thing she said during the concert, no, and it was the best concert ever. I will stand by it. We had a great time at that concert. So Tori, when the confetti was falling, she even said, "This is such a waste of paper." It's kind of a waste of paper.
Look, when I planned my sister's gender reveal, it was between confetti and like smoke that came out pink, and it went with the smoke because I was like, my dad looked at me and said, I'm not cleaning up that confetti off the grass. So
I feel like confetti and glitter are just those two things. Glitter should be banned.
Glitter should be banned, but someone just wrote, someone just retracted, XOOX, keep it up. It said, no, sorry, no, Brandon.
Brandon tried though.
Yeah, he did. You gotta try.
Why is he ripping the paper so slowly?
I know. Hey guys, guess what? Why do you think strikes were so much up of lightning from the 1940s to now? There were so much more back then.
Climate change?
Nope.
Trees?
because the rubber.
Nope. Most homes had corded phones. And when people held it to their ears, it would go right into their heads.
Oh, weird.
I should have said it on the air. Should have said it on the air.
Somebody just said, why can't white people and black people
I got my close up. What'd you say?
Somebody said, why can't white people and black people have the same?
Welcome back to DBL. It's time for Fifth Host when we talk about what you're talking about. Well, just today, President Trump's efforts to keep 8 years of tax returns private has just been rejected in court. We're talking this morning. A federal judge says despite being in office, he has no immunity from a criminal investigation. Trump says that this is a political plot against him, and his lawyers argue he could suffer, quote, irreparable harm if his tax returns are made public. We want to know why. So DBL Nation, should the president be forced to share his tax returns? Lindsay, go ahead.
All right, Diane from Facebook says, if we want an amendment that elected officials share their tax returns, let's do it. There is no law that a president must share his tax returns. So let's stick to the Constitution and stop fishing based on political dislike. And I think it's been a precedent that was set that a lot of presidents have released their tax returns. So I wouldn't mind if he did. But I want to let everybody know that even if he does release them to this New York court, they're not going to be made public. You're probably never going to see them because unless it goes to trial as evidence, then we'll see them, which a sitting president can't go on a criminal case. So maybe in 4 or 8 years. Right. You know.
There's a question about whether they can or cannot, which is very, very interesting. But I have a question. If he was subpoenaed for a criminal investigation into some kind of money tax situation, should he be forced, even as president, to show his tax returns? In your opinion?
Well, I think that he should hand them over to the court, but I don't think that the public is waiting for it. I think if this is politically motivated, it's going to backfire. Okay. Because if we're waiting for it, it's not going to determine the election because we're probably not going to see them after all of his pushback, and we're not going to ever get them. So what's the point?
All right. Jeremy from Facebook says, absolutely. Just remember that Nixon tried to hide his, and the precedent set since then of all presidents releasing them even before they are elected. Therefore, even folks who don't get elected have revealed theirs. Thanks for writing in, Jeremy. We were asking about Obama's birth certificate. He released his. It's time for you to release your taxes.
That's when Richard Nixon said, I am not a crook. It was over his taxes. That's why he I am not a crook.
Right.
That was over his taxes.
I did not know that.
There, then what is all this for?
Well, then show the taxes.
Then nothing's there, then, you know?
Because I don't feel that Obama needed to release his birth certificate either. Nothing was there.
You do it. If people continue to call for it, then why not just do it as a
I guess I don't believe in appeasing people. As you know, as my neighbor at my desk.
I I was told I have to be nice to you.
All right, John from Facebook says, no way, it's not legal. It has no bearing on how he does his job. That's true, but I mean, we do, like Lindsay said, we do have a precedent here, and I believe when you are the president, you are afforded a lot of privileges, and also a lot of things are going to be asked of you that wouldn't be asked of a private citizen. Most people, when they apply for a job or take a job, don't have to show their taxes. Usually, everybody that's taking this job, you know, has taken this, so has done this. Sorry, they're talking in my ear. I'm getting a little confused.
Yeah.
But so that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
well said, Al. I have somebody having a full-blown conversation in my ear.
I think they're in our ear. Well, there's a movie in the works. We're going to go to Raquel that Kim Kardashian probably won't want to see. Raquel, what's going on?
Well, Tori, her dramatic robbery is being made into a film now. You may remember Kim's 2016 jewelry heist. She was tied up, gagged, and threatened with a gun in her hotel room in Paris. Thieves made off with more than $10 million worth of gems. The project is called Fashion Week, adapted from a novel that a French writer is working on right now. 11 people were charged in the robbery. Kim hasn't commented on the movie yet.
I got to be honest. You know me. I'm a big Kim Kardashian fan. I always will be with that Kardashian family. She was gagged and bound and at gunpoint in a bathtub. So I always feel when people get mad at her with the robbery or think it's stupid, that's a really traumatic situation. I don't care how much money you have. She thought she was never going to see her baby again. So just let's be real about what happened in that robbery.
Right. Don't be surprised if she's executive producer or something on this.
This really affected her.
They do a great job of making money off of stories about them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
you're right. Okay, but I bet you this one's too touchy. But we'll see. Yeah. We'll see. Well, coming up on DBL, the remarkable story of a 79-year-old woman who secured a ticket to space. We'll find out what led to her Virgin Galactic adventure next in Heart Threads.
About Kim Kardashian.
Please.
They made money off the Lamar Odom situation, which bothered me. And so this is, to me, as extreme as that. That was life or death. Because they put it on the show and they make money every time. They put the whole entire experience that Chloe had when he was about to die on the show.
Well, they all agreed to be in a documentary about their lives, so that was part of their lives.
But Lamar didn't.
He signed up a release for it, absolutely did.
So don't be, that's what I'm saying. Don't be surprised if Kris Jenner gets ahead of this.
I don't think they need to make money, though, Brandon. They couldn't spend their money in 10 lifetimes.
Anytime people had something about the Kardashians, Jordan Woods, this, they make money off of it. They flip the narrative.
But if you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, she was in like direct therapy for a while and then like couldn't leave her house because of this. And I think this touches her in a way that other things didn't. Like the Ray J thing, you're absolutely right. They used that completely. I gotta be honest. But I do think this might have been a bit traumatic for her.
Okay, lightning facts.
Okay, technically lightning itself doesn't have a temperature.
Wow.
Because technically those 50,000 degrees are actually the temperature of the air or other materials as the lightning passes through it. The bolt itself is a movement of electrical charges. It does not have an actual temperature.
That's crazy. Really? The man didn't feel any heat when he got struck.
But I think the air did. The air around the lightning is hot. Okay. I would assume. He got.
Welcome back to DBL. Today's Heart Threads is all about not giving up on your dreams. Check out the story of a female aviator who was cheated out of going to space, but is now getting another chance.
60 years after training to be an astronaut, this woman finally has her ticket to space. Wally Funk started learning how to fly at age 14. In 1961, she joined a secret program to find out if women could survive in space. She was poked, prodded, and even locked inside an isolation tank. Most of the men wanted out after 3 hours. But Wally stayed inside the tank for a record 10.5 hours.
They said, "Do you need to go to the bathroom?" I said, "I already did that."
Although she outperformed the men in every test, U.S. officials saw sending a woman to space as a sign of weakness. Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson canceled the program. Wally went back to flying, breaking more barriers as a female aviator. She purchased a future flight with Virgin Galactic. So after 60 years, Wally may finally travel to space.
The only thing a woman needs to compete in a man's world is ability. Go for everything you can. Higher, faster, longer.
We really hope you make it to space, Wally, and live out your dreams. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
Hi DBL Nation, it's Raquel here with Leo, and we have a movie review of Joker. And it's a lot to start on this one.
Yeah, for real. This is a serious take, guys. Like, this is not as superhero comic book action-packed as the Marvel movies. This is
it's not at all.
very different.
This is completely deviated. I'm still feeling uncomfortable. The subject matter is serious, realistic, gritty, dark. Think Taxi Driver, which Robert De Niro is actually in this film too. Very
funny
different
enough.
role. I also want to add that Joaquin's Phoenix performance was powerful. It was very good. It's all the hype it's had. It lives up to it. It's well done. The cinematography is great. The style, the plot, it's good, but it's just a lot to take in.
This is not quite a family movie.
No.
If you're gonna go see this one, this is not for the kids. Slight spoiler warning, there is no Batman in this, so there is no real superhero this time.
This is really way too serious of a subject matter. It's really dark.
Yeah, it dives a lot into the mental psyche of this character and also just mental health industry as a whole. And it's just a very serious movie as a whole, as I was saying.
It's really dark. That's the best way I can describe it, is if you want to go see it, you have to mentally prepare yourself. If you're going to go see it with someone, make sure you're both on the same page about what you're going to see, because it's going to be realistic and it might make you feel, to me, when a movie is too close to home as it could happen to my neighbor, it leaves me feeling a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's how I describe it.
Gritty, it's dark, it's a lot. But would you say go to the theaters to see this, wait for Redbox, or don't see it at all?
I would say if you're not a fan of horror films, because I kind of akin this more to a horror film than I do a drama or psychological thriller, if that's your speed, you should see it. If you are uncomfortable watching that kind of intimate violence, I wouldn't see it at all. I don't think I could ever see it again, to be quite honest.
Be aware of this one, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Welcome back to DBL. All right, we're going to actually share some lightning facts for you guys. I want to ask you guys some trivia. Where is the place that experiences more lightning than anywhere on Earth?
Bluff City, Iowa.
I'm going to go with the North Pole.
North Pole, Bluff City, Iowa?
Yeah.
Ronkonkoma, where that deer ran in.
Where the deer? It's Venezuela.
Ooh.
They have an everlasting storm right by the Caribbean Sea that has 260 storms per year.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And they have great sangria.
Do they?
Yeah.
Also, which is really interesting, is that 81% of men were killed in lightning strikes from 2006 to 2013. A much higher rate men get killed than women.
That's weird.
From lightning.
I think women are smart enough to go inside. Men are just like, it'll be fine. One more hole.
That's true. Well, we're glad to see he's up and alive and doing well. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. We're all fighting uphill battles, so be good to each other. Bye, guys.